heart of Crimson Tide Country. Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. It's the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier Houston. Hosted by 1992 national champion fullback Martin Houston and his son Xavier. This is your daily dose of Alabama football. Straight, smart, and full of that Tuscaloosa pride. Now, here are your hosts, Martin and Xavier Houston. Listen now on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We're live, local, and ready to get things rolling right here on your home for Alabama Sports Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. It's official. It's game week. Tim Richardson jumping on already saying it's game week. Yes, it's game week. So that means we can talk about what Alabama is expected to do this Saturday. So several different topics, a couple things from, we are, of course, unashamedly biased in our coverage of the Alabama Crimson Tide, but maybe we need to take a little jaunt down and see what some thoughts are from the FSU side. Because I think that, some people are making it out that this is a mission critical year for the board replacing Saban, but it is absolutely 100% a mission critical year for Norvell. And we talked about it briefly, X, but 3 years ago, 2 years ago and some change, everybody dogged Dabo Swinney. Oh, he's going to fall apart. He's never going to be relevant again. He's not taking anybody out of the portal. Everybody else is getting all these great players out of the portal. 2 years later, we're praising Alabama because nobody leaves. Dabo did it out of this gate. Now we're praising him. But we were praising Norvell because he did what, X? He got all those players out of the portal. They came up short. And then the next year, what was he doing? Building a whole new team. It went 2-10. Now he's building a third team. And that brings us to this week. The challenge that the University of Alabama had, it's advantage game one for Norvell, probably, but not really moving forward. The advantage in the game one, we'll talk about what is the advantage of Florida State in game one. As they put together a whole new staff, team, etc. Okay, so we'll look at that. Some other topics we can look at. They have Alabama on the road. Alabama has a new starting quarterback. Alabama has a new starting running back. Alabama has right now it looks like it's going to be, even though he started some, one of these guys is going to be the second team guard in there. So does that matter? Will Alabama have a freshman starting at corner? Has Dijon Lee supplanted one of the starters from last year? So we'll talk about that in terms of the Alabama defense. So lots to talk about, X, but it's game week. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning to Bam Bam 72. Welcome in. Good morning, Curtis Moore II. It's game week, and we welcome in Blind Squirrel Sport, our spy from Georgia. So welcome in. Good morning, X. How you doing, man?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you this morning?
Doing well.
Yeah, so like you said, there's a lot to get to. And, man, feels like it's been forever. Alabama hasn't played a meaningful snap of football since last year. We're not used to saying that. Normally, Alabama playing at the beginning of this year, but it's been a long 8 months almost to the day since Alabama has played, and it's the same coach with a new look a little bit with this Alabama team, talking about the new faces, even though there's not a bunch, but even old faces, first time starters for Bama. I'm excited to see what Coach DeBoer and staff bring. What are you most excited for getting into what you want to see from Alabama now that it's game week?
Well, a couple things. It's first and foremost just ready to see the Tide play. No more talking heads. The rubber meets the road. So just excited to see Alabama back out there. Ready to see if this unbreakable bond that these guys developed in the offseason X translates to the field. All of the things that they talked about. But then from there, how this offense looks in year two under DeBoer, with Grubb being in there. So just really excited to see that in terms of what Alabama's going to do, what they're going to look like. And then the third thing, and we'll go back on all of these, of course, but did Womack in this second-year defense see if they take sort of like between game one and game two, you take a big jump. You also do the same thing with your teams year one to year two. I don't know if you and I have talked about this, but this is setting up so much like Saban in year two, going against an FSU. Now, the FSU is not as good as Clemson, but with him having a chance to dispel of an ACC foe X and get off to a great launch in year two of the program, much like Saban did. It was in the Dome, but it was still a road game away from Tuscaloosa. Let's go ahead and try to get a call on this side to break.
Okay. Yeah, we have Robert from Mobile wanting to talk about the game. Hey, Robert's joining us on the Empowerment and Leadership People Solutions Hotline. How you doing this morning, Robert?
Hey guys, what's going on? Looks like somebody else saying it's about to get real now.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Sorry.
The Castellanos comment, which it's like, okay, well, you're throwing out the gauntlet. So defense, what are you going to do about it? He's thrown down the gauntlet. You remember back in the day when Nick Saban would search the web and anything he could find to find any comment, anything. What Ogeron said, this is our house now, and he didn't even say that to the media. He just kind of said it off the cuff, in the heat of the moment. And that's all
he said it in the locker room in one of somebody within the LSU program leaked it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was leaked. That's all Nick Saban needed. Then next year, you got 55 hung on you. This kid said that you're nothing without Nick Saban. He said you're nothing without Nick Saban. Nick Saban's not around to save you anymore. And I don't see how you stop me. You can't get lazy. You can't lay it and to the media. You can't lay it gauntlet down more than that, Alabama. You have to respond to that if you want to call yourself. If you don't want that to be true, that you were Nick Saban and nothing else. You got a chance right now to prove that you're always more than Nick Saban. Here's your chance to prove it. God dares you to prove that you're more than Nick Saban. You have to respond to that. I know you're in their house, but you got to respond. Florida State should, if a good response, Florida State should not get more than 20 points. A decent this day and age of college football. Back in the day, they shut them out. Those days are gone, I think, for the most part. But that kid should definitely not be getting 300 yards passing on you and 100 yards rushing or whatever. This is the gauntlet throw down. So you got to respond to it. Otherwise, yeah. Even if Florida State loses by 1 or 2 points or 3, unless it's a field goal, then his point's kind of proven, isn't it? That would have happened under the old Saban days. The Saban used to search for stuff like that. No, full well, okay, I got you now. You said it. Now I got you. And his team responded in kind. DeBoer, our team needs to respond in kind under the DeBoer era. So Gardner's been laid down now. You want my prediction now?
All right, go ahead.
Robert, what do you think? Because I think this is, to me, it's perfect for both teams. Okay, Alabama. This game sets up great for both teams. Alabama has a chance to go out and get off to an unbelievable start again, but Alabama has to win in dominant fashion for it to feel like Alabama is on their way. Like you said, if we barely win, we're not going to get a lot of love. Florida State, but it's an opportunity for us to dominate the ACC in a helmet game. But Florida State, on the other hand, they just have to get a win, and they can start talking about revenge. They're back. They can. I mean, they get to redeem when we got chose over them 2 years ago. They get to redeem last year, so they have a lot riding on this game. What does Alabama have to do, in your opinion, to shut up all that talk in terms of score and dominance?
This needs to, after the comments that Castellanos made, you have to respond like we did against LSU. Because we don't even know. The team could be just that bad. They were worse than the LSU team that Alabama hung 55 points on in 2020. They were worse last year. Are they any better this year? You really need to beat them down at least 42 to 17. That's my prediction. At least 42-17 to shut it up. And it needs to be it needs to be really dominant right now, because again, Castellano, he's laying down the Gardner. I don't see how you stop me. You're nothing. You ain't Nick Saban's not around to save you. Those are fighting words. On any level, those are fighting words, especially for a team that's, Alabama pride back in the day. They would mop up the floor with you with comments like, with just comments like Ochoa said, off the cuff, in private. They would mop up the floor with you with that. Imagine what they would do if you said it directly. You said it directly.
Yeah, I agree with that, Robert. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what Alabama does based off of those comments. We actually mentioned it last week. He's talked big in the media, but when the one time he's been face to face with an Alabama player, Isaiah Horton, this summer, he didn't have much to say. But hey, what's your score prediction?
Oh, I'm sorry. 42 to I said 17, but man, 17 we gotta have a bad taste to me. I mean, it's been a beatdown, but woo.
Hey, Robert, we'll give him 7 late.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah.
Hey, and the tiebreaker is Ty's passing yards.
Oh, Ty's passing yards.
Yep.
Man, I look for us to really run over this team if there isn't like they were last year. So I'll give Ty Simpson 225. A good fielder game, but we're more reliant on the running game. And you really want your running game on the road anytime. So 225.
All right.
225, 42 to 17. Ty passing yards 225. Hey, we appreciate you, Robert. You have a good day.
All right, guys. Get you later.
All right. Roll Tide. Hey, we're going to go ahead and get to break. And when we come back on the other side, we have Kennington Smith III joining us. Well, we continue the conversation breaking down Alabama versus Florida State. It is week 1 of the 2025 college football season.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Happy Monday to you. And we are moving happily along the Tuscaloosa freeways and side streets as we're not seeing any major delays along the area. Taking a look at McFarland, that is moving very nicely all through the city right now. You've got traffic on McFarland between Skyland and 15th Street, traveling nicely between 15th and University, and Lurleen Wallace between 15th and McFarland. You're A-OK. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. With Taco Bell's 5 $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes you can fill up on faves for $5, indulge even more for $7, or try something totally new for $9. Get yours at participating stores. Price and participation may vary. Limited time. Drinks exclude freezes. Tax extra.
Craving the best Southern comfort food around? Catfish Heaven is calling your name. From crispy golden catfish fillets to their finger-licking wings served hot, sauced, and seasoned to perfection. They've got the flavors you love. Don't forget the hush puppies, creamy coleslaw, and all the fixins that make every bite feel like home. Whether it's a family dinner, game day feast, or quick lunch stop, you'll leave satisfied and smiling. Call 205-752-7222 or visit them online at catfishheaventuscaloosa.com to check out their menu and order ahead. Catfish Heaven, where every bite feels just right.
Got timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi? North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment go unrealized. Call North River Timber Company today. Email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com or call 205-242-5127.
In a world full of impressions, clicks, and empty promises, your trades business needs more than marketing. At Ignite Home Services, we fuel the trades.
If you're grinding every day but stuck on a plateau, Ignite Home Services is your secret lead generation weapon.
We're not just a marketing company. We are the lead generation experts for the trades. HVAC, plumbing, roofing, you name it. We run hundreds of campaigns built to deliver real, measurable growth.
We don't chase clicks, we chase results. Powered by Pipeline Pro, our AI-backed lead tracking system.
Preferred media partners with Service Titan, Roofle, Chirp, and yes, we partner with Google.
We're tech-driven, human-led, ROI obsessed.
So if your residential business is ready to break through the noise, visit igniteinhome.com. That's igniteinhome.com. And let's fuel the trades.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Humidity values lower today. The sky mostly sunny, the high 84. Fair and very pleasant tonight, below 62. Tomorrow, partially sunny. We could see a few isolated afternoon showers, the high only at 79. I'm James Spann with the Alabama Weather Network on Tide 100.9. It's 68 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Florida State quarterback chirped a little bit, and I was wondering, one, was the message received, and two, response?
Disrespect will be addressed.
All right. I love it. I love it. Well, no more talking about it, X. It's game time now, as it was said by Tim Keenan, captain of the University of Alabama football team. Disrespect will be addressed, referring to Castellano saying that Alabama can't stop him. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. So we'll keep it. We'll keep that going. I want to thank our sponsors for making it possible this game week, and we wouldn't be here without them. So We want to thank them, but we also want to open up and let you know if you are looking to partner. We have a great roster. We have room for you on the roster as well. So, X, just a couple comments. QD said Robert from Mobile with the fire. Robert is 100% correct. We can't play around with these guys. We need to have the stadium emptying out in the third quarter. And his score 38-13. Ty Simpson, he went with the completion percentage, 22 of 28, 269 yards, 3 TDs, and 0 interceptions. So QD going all in on that. And then Bam Bam 72 jumping in on the conversation. I'm a little concerned if Roberts can't go, talking about Jayden Roberts. Hate game one. Bama won't be totally healthy on the O-line. Hopefully Vandermark will be ready to go. I'm probably less worried about Vandermark than I am Dewberry, just because I know Vandermark played that role a little bit last year, X. Now, there's a reason that Jayden was the starter, but let's get Kennington in on the conversation as well, X.
All right, we've got Kennington Smith the third on us. How you doing this morning, Kennington?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Doing good, doing good. So speaking of this, getting into the conversation of Bama versus Florida State, new start. We talked about new starter at quarterback for Bama, new starter at running back, new faces on the offensive line. What are your thoughts about what this Alabama offense has to do to go into a hostile environment where the weather might be a concern come Saturday to dominate on the offensive side?
Yeah, I think this is this is a game where they're really gonna have to rely on pretty much their two best linemen, Caden Proctor and Parker Brose, to establish something on the ground. You mentioned the weather might be a little bit difficult to throw the ball. So, if it is raining a lot, then, the idea that Ty Simpson is going to be at 25 plus attempts might need to bring that number down just depending on how hard it rains and how long, it rains for, et cetera. So I think this is going to be a really big game where Caden Proctor and Parker Brosford are really going to have to establish something on the left side and go Vandermark in there as well. So it's going to fall on the offensive line, in my opinion, and I feel like it should. I mean, those were your two best players on offense are residing outside of Ryan Williams, obviously. So leaning on those two, getting something established on the ground, you got some physical backs that you could rely on: Daniel Hill, Richard Young. So that's what it looks like for me. Florida State's defense is a bit of a mystery. They have, more than half of their stars are probably going to be expected transfers. They got a new defensive coordinator coming in from Nebraska, Tony White. So not really sure what exactly they're going to throw at Alabama defensively, but I think that you can neutralize all of that with a solid run game.
Yeah, before we move on from that, you talk about establishing a run. With that thought, what do you think Ty's legs do in game one if that becomes the case?
Yeah, I think that we're going to see Ty Simpson running the ball. I think it's been lightly mentioned. DeBoer has been kind of soft launching this idea of Ty Simpson being a dual threat guy, which is kind of funny to people in the know because we all understand that Ty Simpson can run the ball. It's probably not known on a national level. But I expect Ty Simpson to be involved in the run game, not to the effect of Jalen Milroe, right? He's not going to be the number one running option, but he is going to have, some stake in the run game to keep the defense on it.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I know this is going to sound crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if he if it ends up being what we're thinking. If it ends up being bad weather, don't be surprised if Ty doesn't lead the team in rushing. I mean, just because of the way they'll use him. In other words, not because he's the carry guy, but because two reasons. One is that they'll use his legs intentionally. But I think number two, don't be surprised if they don't try to use the short passing game a little bit in the weather, but then also turn around and tell Ty, hey, we're going to
it's not there.
pull it down and run it. You know what I mean? Like if it's there, take it. If it's not, usually like so. I wouldn't be surprised if Ty doesn't break off one or two long runs if the weather ends up being bad.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. And then also, I mean, just the fact that there's going to be some, some uncertainty at running back, maybe that also leans into it as well as probably, a little bit more trust in Ty Simpson than like a Daniel Hill, for example, who hasn't really played a whole lot. So maybe that's another element as well where they're like, we're just going to have to put, a little bit more on Ty Simpson in the game. But that's what you want, right? Ty Simpson's a veteran guy. He's been waiting for this opportunity. This is kind of what it is. So I don't think they're going to be, conservative in their approach with Ty Simpson. So, I could definitely see a scenario, like you said, where they're just like, we're just going to have to put, more running responsibility on you to kind of stabilize what we have going on.
Yeah, I definitely could see that being a possibility. Before we continue the conversation, we've got Pat joining us on the Empowerment Leadership and People Solutions Hotline. How you doing this morning, Pat?
Hey, man, there's a 50% chance of fairly light rain. It ain't any thunderstorms for Saturday, the 30th of August. But hey, and there's no hurricanes approaching, guys. So we're not talking major wind. Y'all understand that? But no, it's no hurricanes for that ball game. I promise y'all. And so I'm excited for Ty. And Ty's going to rock and roll. This offense is going to rock and roll, and it's all going to be okay. But however, let's go back to that thing about that a little short quarterback. When I walked into the Vanderbilt Stadium, I saw a sign that says, "Without Saban, no chance." That's what it said going into the stadium. That who was the prognosticator that came up with that, y'all? That scared me to death when I saw it. No, it didn't. That's the problem. It didn't scare me. It probably should have. So,
yeah,
talk to me.
Pat, but that's the funny part is Castellano, Saban. He was Saban's kryptonite. So, I mean, his style was Saban's kryptonite.
Well, hey, and you got the Gus Bus leading the charge. That
we don't want Saban. This is not Saban's defense.
Huh?
I've heard people make that Gus Malzahn statement as if Womack runs Saban's defense. Gus Malzahn. I mean, that doesn't mean anything as far as Gus Malzahn's success ex Kennington against Alabama. This is not Saban's Alabama. I promise you anymore.
No, this is not Saban's Alabama. That's what they don't understand. Hey, that I am not scared. I think our defensive secondary is going to show out, and I think our linebackers have too much speed for them, and that you're going to see. I'm predicting at least 6 sacks in this ball game with that little short quarterback. Ooh,
hey, if Bama has 6 sacks Saturday, I'm locking in a big win for the Crimson Tide, 100% for that.
I am too. I've got the score at 42-10.
42-10. What's Ty's passing yards?
And Ty's passing yards. Ty's going to break 300. I'm going to go 305.
Okay, so a big game for. How many touchdowns you got, Pat?
How many touchdowns? Total touchdowns for Ty? I'm gonna say that Ty throws 4 touchdowns, and I've got with us having a couple of rushing touchdowns.
Okay. Well, that's more than 42 points, Pat.
No, let's see. 4
No, you said 4. You said 4 passing.
4 and 2. Yeah.
Okay, 4
so
and 2.
Ty's going to score all 6 touchdowns?
No, I didn't say Ty was going to score them running. I said we're going to have 2 rushing touchdowns, and Ty's gonna throw for
as
4.
a team. I thought you were saying Ty was going to rush for 2 and throw 4. I was going to say that's pretty much all the touchdowns.
No.
All right.
But hey, like you said, that I think it's going to be a coming out party, and that hey, it's going to make the rest of the SEC shut up and take notice.
All right. Thanks, Pat. All right. Well, we'll be back on the other side to get Kennington's thoughts on a couple specifics of the game. But also, Kennington, I want you to be thinking, this is a big week for the SEC. The Big Ten, can the other conferences make a statement that maybe the SEC isn't the best conference? How good does the SEC have to be this week and not have to listen to it all year long about they've been supplanted? We'll talk about those questions and more as we continue right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Happy Monday to you, and we are moving happily along the Tuscaloosa freeways and side streets as we're not seeing any major delays along the area. Taking a look at McFarland, that is moving very nicely all through the city right now. You've got traffic on McFarland between Skyland and 15th Street, traveling nicely between 15th and University, and Lurleen Wallace between 15th and McFarland. You're A-OK. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
It's time to do it local at Piggly Wiggly, Highway 69 South, Tuscaloosa. Join us Friday, August 29th for Red, White, and Dew, an all-out Labor Day celebration. We're giving away $25 gift cards, prizes, and a beach vacation. And it's all powered by Mountain Dew. Get in, get prizes, and get ready to do it local on Friday, August 29th at your 69 South Piggly Wiggly store in Tuscaloosa.
This is Brian Finnison, owner of the venue Tuscaloosa across from Sokol Park. First, I want to thank all of our thousands of loyal customers that have supported us. But there are so many people that still don't know about the venue. There are 5 restaurants open daily with indoor and outdoor dining. The 5 restaurants circle a humongous courtyard that at times welcomes live music and events, but every day is a place that you can hang out, eat, or let the kids play in the wall ball area. We're the only place your party size doesn't matter. Focused on family, come visit one of the 5 restaurants at the venue Tuscaloosa.
Get Labor Day savings now at the Home Depot with up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $450 off select appliances like Whirlpool that can keep up with your busy routine. Whirlpool refrigerators from the Home Depot have the storage and ice capacity for everything from school lunches to stocking coolers for sports practice. Celebrate Labor Day with savings on select appliances at the Home Depot. Offer valid August 21st through September 10th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. They've been doing it the right way each and every day for 50 years and counting. If you're looking for a great option for lunch and or dinner, then you need to check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, and while you're there, don't forget to get a big glass of that sweet tea. Visit them online at tacocasa.com. That's tacocasa.com. Quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
Hey, Bama fans, this is quarterback Jalen Milroe for my friends at Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. Before you shop anywhere else for a Dodge Ram truck, a Jeep, a Dodge Challenger, or a Dodge Charger, shop local. An amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles are on the lot now. Go see for yourself at 550 Skyland Boulevard East in Tuscaloosa, or you can shop online at TuscaloosaCDJR.com. At Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, you pick it out and we'll work it out. Roll Tide!
When you stay in your home, what you love gets to stay too. From the gardens that grow wild to the grandkids that run wilder. From the Friday night baseball games to the Sunday morning brunches, even the daily crosswords and weekly book clubs. There's room for it all with help from Home Instead, the largest in-home senior care network with over 30 years of trusted experience delivering the peace of mind you deserve. Visit Home Instead online for a better what's next.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier as we get ready to continue the conversation of Alabama versus Florida State. Week 1 is upon us. We have Kennington Smith III with us as he joins us each and every Monday. Kennington, we talked a little bit about the offense in the last segment, and what they're going to have to do, especially weather permitting, kind of how the game plan might be this weekend. But defensively, we've talked a lot about how this defense has grown, how it's matured going into year 2 up under Kane Womack. Got a lot of guys coming back, a lot of experience. But this type of, yes, we understand this isn't Saban anymore, but as an Alabama fan, we do understand that a running quarterback, a mobile quarterback has been the kryptonite for Alabama for the better part of 20 years. And even when you look at last year with Womack and DeBoer, the games we lost were Vandy, Oklahoma. Even Nico Imaliava used his legs against us last year.
And
what does Alabama have to do to?
And we had the Michigan game won until their quarterback got hurt and they went to the running quarterback.
Right.
We lost that game when we forced them to run the ball when they couldn't pass it last year.
Yep. So when you look at that, what does Alabama have to do to stop the quarterback that I think everybody calls Mighty Mouse?
Yeah, I think the first and foremost, as simple as it sounds, is just tackling better. Bama was a really poor tackling team last year. I mean, it was not even just you miss a tackle and it turns into a big play. There were a lot of times where Bama could have had a second and long, tackling a guy in the backfield that turned into a second and manageable, or a second and short, or a third and short, where it could have been a third and long, just like simple things like that. So I think the first thing is just tackling needs to improve. And then from there, this needs to be a really big Tim Keenan game. James Smith has been practicing, which is a huge thing for Alabama. So needs to be a big James Smith game. So I'm looking at the defensive line to really set the tone. I mean, you have Tim Keenan, you have James Smith, you have LT Overton. No, you brought in a transfer as well. I don't know why I cannot think of his name at this moment.
Kelby Collins.
Yeah, Kelby Collins. You brought in Kelby Collins, another veteran. So you've been hearing some good things about Jeremiah Beeman and Edric Hill, et cetera. So I think the defensive line really needs to set the tone in this game, especially when you have a linebacking core with, Deontay Lawson, Justin Jefferson, players who have missed some time, coming back, acclimating in, new linebacker Nakai Hill Green. So I think the defensive line needs to kind of protect the back end of that defense by wreaking some havoc. So that's what I'm going to be looking at, in addition to just improved tackling as a team.
Yeah, I agree with that. And on top of that, when we talk about that, Gus Malzahn and his creative play calling was also a part of that kryptonite. Is Florida State going to have to lean on their run game, or you think they're going to try to throw it on us based off of what Alabama's strong suits are? Because if you really look at, it's the defensive line, and then most people would say our secondary second. And it's crazy to think that the linebackers are the weakness, you would say, just because of the injury concerns and how healthy are these guys, would probably make them the third on the list, even though it's a super talented and experienced core.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, as far as, how Florida State is planning to attack them, it's going to be interesting because, Florida State, I mean, this is pretty much a new offense in terms of the personnel, right? Like, there are some names that people might recognize. Deuce Robinson was a highly rated recruit before. Squirrel White from Tennessee. Alabama fans know him. But this is pretty much an all-transfer offense, except for maybe, a handful of guys. So, going to be a little bit of a new attack. If I was Florida State, I would just run at Bama, as crazy as that may sound. I wouldn't test the secondary, especially with the conditions. Thomas Castellanos also got benched at Boston College, so not great. obviously, right? Like he probably will be at Boston College if he was, you know, in terms of like being like a really great thrower of the ball. We mainly know him like for his legs. That's how he beat Florida State when he was at Boston College a year ago. So I would lean into that. I would lean into the run, like you said, the creativity. But if the game plan is just to line up and just throw it at Alabama, that's not a winning recipe. At least I don't think it is.
No, I wouldn't say that. And it's funny, the only guy that you really know back from Florida State a year ago is Alabama transfer Roydell Williams.
Yeah, Roydell Williams. Yeah.
So it is going to be interesting. And what type of issues do you think that could potentially create for Alabama's defense? Because, like you said, new coordinator, new weapons on the outside, new quarterback, offensive line is mostly I think 3 or 4 of their starters are transfers. How does Alabama know how to game plan when you have all these new parts and moving parts along this offense?
Yeah, well, if you're a graduate assistant or an analyst, you probably have had a rough go these last couple weeks, months, right? Because they are like, we need you to go and find as many snaps as you can at this guy from this school, but they're doing that for like every player on offense, right? Like they're having to go and not only scout Gus Malzahn and what he's done, but like 10, 15 players from all different schools watching their film. They're probably going back and watching like high school huddles, just trying to figure out what type of personnel that they have. So it's going to be a challenge. I mean, same thing for the defense, right? You're going to have to go and look at a lot of games just to find a couple clips of a couple guys and see what you can put together. So it's a bit of a task. Alabama obviously has the resources to do it, but it is a difficult game plan when you're having to spread yourself so thin, trying to figure out exactly who these people are, what they're good at, and then you have to project that out into Gus Malzahn's offense, right? Like, okay, like we saw what he did here. How does it project into this offense and what we might see? So it is going to be a challenge, and I'm interested even, you know, in the lead up and even after the game, learning a little bit more about how exactly Alabama game planned for this particular matchup.
Well, I talked to one of the players, and he literally, one of the good things for Alabama is Gus Malzahn is Gus Malzahn. And what's his name? Tim Scott. I can't remember his name, but the
defensive
Tony White for Florida State. Tony White. He's been wherever he's been. Supposedly, according to this player, he said everywhere he's been, he's done the same thing. So that helps them. But they're spending more time watching Nebraska than they are Florida State. From an offensive, from Florida State's defensive side of the ball, because they know what he's done. And he said, and to your point, Kennedy, he said the other side of that is the reason it makes sense to run Nebraska is because the players that you will watch on last year's film really didn't give you anything because they aren't there. And so, and he talked about how, Alabama played Western Kentucky, and I think they have a Western Kentucky player. They actually went back and looked at what this player did against Western Kentucky. So it's a pretty neat little thing. But
I said watch Nick Marshall at Auburn for Gus Malzahn and Castellanos. I think that's the best fit.
Yeah, I mean, but to the point though, Gus Malzahn is Gus Malzahn. He's done the same thing. If you go all the way back to high school, it's just whether if he had a more of a passer than a runner, he leans this way. If he has more of a runner than a passer, he leans this way. So that's what they're having to do in terms of what they do, how they prepare. But Kenneth, what does Alabama have to do to establish? I know we talked about, you want to kind of force them into a run game. What's your, big three Alabama wins if they do this, this, and this?
Yeah, I would say if they win the turnover margin, if they have more tackles for loss, sacks than Florida State, and if they just come out and just play with the necessary attitude that they need to. I think that's like the biggest thing for me. Like I keep coming back to this Nick Saban can't save them comment. And it's not even the fact that Thomas Castellano said it. It's the fact that he felt comfortable saying it. Like, I think that he thinks that Alabama is sweet, honestly. Like, I honestly think that, because why else would you say something like that, right? Like, I think that there's, like, this perception out there that Alabama is just like this shell of itself and is giving people confidence to speak out in this way against Alabama, because nobody would dare say that when Saban was coaching. We know that. But I just think that there needs to be, like, an attitude about how Alabama plays this game. It's not even just like we're playing this hard because Thomas Castellano said this. It's like you're playing against the idea that somebody feels comfortable speaking about your program in this way. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like, I think they have to come out and play with this requisite attitude and fire to send a message that speaks out against that perception. I think that's like the number one thing for me is like I need Alabama to come out and just like step on that immediately. That's the first key, and then you take care of the ball and you have disruptive plays on defense, and I think the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I say if Alabama doesn't, they're in for a dogfight. I think they have to establish it early. Teams used to hope they could beat Alabama, and if they had any success in the game, they would think they could beat Alabama. And then you got to the point where Clemson, who had the success, knew they could beat Alabama. Now teams are starting off with they think they can beat Alabama. They have success early. Alabama's in a dogfight, a la Vanderbilt, Oklahoma. We let them get out early. I think if Florida State has success early, it's going to be a dogfight down in at Doak Stadium. So it is what it is, though. Coming back on the other side, Kenneth, we'll get your thoughts and score on that. But also, let's look at a couple big games around the SEC and what the SEC needs to do in week one if they're going to reclaim the title as the best conference in the SEC. I mean, in the nation.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Monday edition of The Game, Kayla DeBoer previews Florida State. Kane Womack previews the defensive side of the football. Ryan Grubb talks. We'll talk about it. We'll do it with Drew DeArmond. We'll talk about it with Martin Houston, all starting at 2 p.m. here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now for the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Still a fairly quiet ride out there right now. Not dealing with any severe delays, but we do have typical ones at the intersections of Skyland Boulevard and McFarland. And you're also going to slow up just a skosh as you move on Lurleen Wallace onto 15th Street and Lurleen Wallace onto McFarland. You're looking just fine here. Just your stoplights logos is all. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The slow-roasted Cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
Under the biggest cactus in town, Taco Casa. Quality is number one. You got to start with a good quality product, but it's got to be at a good value to the customers.
Everything is about quality.
You just can't beat the quality, taste, and value.
And it's because we take pride in providing you with the best.
Good customer service and good food, good quality.
We want to make sure that we give that to them each and every time they come and visit us.
The sense of pride that we have in the quality, the consistency of our food carries over to everything we do in the stores. That's Taco Casa.
Labor Day savings are happening right now at the Home Depot. So what are you working on? Prep for fall with our wide selection of cordless power tools that make it easy to clear your lawn, starting at $79. And once the leaves are clear, keep your yard looking fresh with colorful mums that bloom all season long. Shop Labor Day savings now through September 3rd, only at the Home Depot. See select stores for details.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard, aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Do you have timberland you don't know what to do with? Give North River Timber Company a call. Courtney White and his team of over 20 years experience offer timber harvesting, timber appraisals, comprehensive management plans for that special tract of land that you own. Courtney and his team can help you decide how to maximize your highest potential for your land. Timber is like money in the bank. See what your investment can do for you. Contact Courtney White at 205-242-5127. North River Timber CO at gmail.com. North River Timber Company.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. It's now time for the Harvest Church 2-minute warning, where we love God, love people. We have Kennington Smith III on with us, breaking down Alabama versus FSU. Kennington, we had a couple of people listening, and Tim Richardson said that the defensive line must maintain gaps, and linebackers need to fill those gaps. I think that is both in the run game and the pass game. That is critical. And then Hollywood, the barber said, "Yep, Tim, push the pocket and contain the edges. I think we're gonna need good there. We have to speed on defense now to make the plays we wasn't able to make last year." Real quick, Kennington, what's your score in Ty's passing yards?
Yeah, I'm going with a little bit lower scoring game. I'll go 24-10 Bama. I think, they're just going to, kind of control the game. There's probably going to be some mishaps on offense just with the newness of it and, not expecting Florida State has to throw at it. But I think Bama's defense is going to be the story of the day. I think it's going to be the story of Alabama's season, actually. So I think Bama's defense makes a statement, 24-10. Ty Simpson passing yards, I'll go it'll be modest in my opinion, probably 240 maybe, 230, 240. I just don't think it's going to be that high scoring, that high octane of an attack, especially first game of the year. So I think I don't think he has any turnovers. I think he plays a clean game. Alabama gets in, gets the win, gets out, 24-10, and then moves.
X, will Alabama fans be disappointed, and will you be disappointed if Bama puts up only 24 points? Will you feel concerned?
I think it's weather dependent, in my opinion. If Ty, and it's crazy to think Ty's first real game and only real game of a ton of playing time, it was a rain game at South Florida. So if he has to start off his first time as the guy in the same situation, I can understand a lower scoring game. If the weather's good, I can see Alabama getting into the 30s.
All right. Is the SEC and this reputation of it just means more on the line this weekend already, with the last two champions coming from the Big Ten? So just a couple big games. How important are these games to that storyline? Ohio State and Texas. Who you got?
Yeah, give me Ohio State home. New quarterback for Texas, new quarterback for Ohio State as well. But Ohio State has the two best players in the game: Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs. Carnell Tate, I think, is going to have a big game as well. So give me Ohio State by a touchdown.
Yeah, how is it that Texas is picked to win the national title and expected to lose, and they're underdog in game one? Are everybody expecting Arch Manning
Man.
Are they expecting him to have a year? By the time the end of the year, he's going to be the best player in the country. So who knows?
That's what it feels like for sure.
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense.
Close though.
Do what?
I think Texas wins it close late.
Yeah,
by field goal.
I'm torn because I so dislike Texas, but I'm an SEC guy, so I'm going with Texas. What about Clemson and LSU?
Yeah, give me Clemson.
Yes, Valley, baby.
Yeah, Clemson, to me, of any of the contenders in the country, has the fewest question marks. I'm honestly surprised they're not getting more traction to be the number one team to start off the year. Like I said, fewest question marks. Program with a little bit more momentum, it feels like, than LSU. Home game, night game, Death Valley. If you're listening, you haven't been, it is deafening in there truly. So give me Clemson by, again, a touchdown.
What about, you remember the argument when Dabo didn't lose any players and didn't go in the portal? Everybody praised Norvell and Florida State. Looks like Dabo's coming out on top on that argument. So
I'm taking Clemson as well.
And as much as I dislike, I'm an SEC guy. I dislike Brian Kelly. I think he's a little turd, and I love Dabo, so I'm going Clemson as well. All right, this one nobody's really talking about, but to me, it's another one of those ACC games, and this just determines the tiebreaker between the SEC and the ACC. South Carolina and Virginia Tech.
Yeah, give me South Carolina. I don't know what the spread is, but give me the spread. Give me South Carolina by a lot. Virginia Tech program kind of in flux. Don't know what's going on with the head coach situation. That might be one of those kind of hot seat teams, 6-8 weeks into the year. So give me South Carolina by whatever the spread is.
Yep. Right now, you got South Carolina and Alabama beating the ACC. You got Ohio State beating the SEC. You got Clemson beating the SEC. So Auburn and Baylor is the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And they're the first game.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really know anything about Baylor, but you know what? Auburn's been, there's a lot of hype on Auburn. So they just have to win. Just based off of how much people have been talking about them in the hype, Auburn cannot lose. So give me Auburn to win that.
Yeah. I hope they don't lose, man. And that's hard for me to say. Thanks, Kennington. Appreciate you, man.
Yes. Thanks, y'all.
Close it out.
Hey, this is the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. That was Kennington Smith III joining us. Hey, it is game week. Bama getting ready to take on FSU, and we'll continue these conversations all week long. Roll Tide, everybody.
Yep, we'll add DC Capstone Report to the conversation tomorrow. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide, everybody.
It's time to come together. It's up to you.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Monday morning. Former Vice President Kamala Harris